Today on Rappler, fresh sparring over the South China Sea expected at the ASEAN Summit. Secretary Ping Lacson hits Tacloban Mayor Alfred Romualdez for below-par performance. And Vice President Binay downplays the debate with Senator Trillanes as a conversation. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. This is Rappler's Wrap for the Day, a list of the most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. Fresh diplomatic sparring over who owns what in the South China Sea, that's likely to break out this week at the summit of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, in Myanmar. The issue is also a key testing ground for diplomacy between China and the United States. Observers see a softening of Chinese rhetoric in recent weeks, including the removal of an oil rig from Vietnamese waters and 2 diplomatic visits to Hanoi. Southeast Asia expert Carl Thayer says China waxes hot and cold and moderates its behavior prior to ASEAN summits. But he doesn't expect a policy shift from Beijing. Rehabilitation Secretary Ping Lacson hits Tacloban City Mayor Alfred Romualdez, saying his performance in the rehabilitation efforts after Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda were, in his words, below par. In a speech Monday, Lacson says Romualdez's persistent statements that Tacloban did not receive rehabilitation funds are lies. Lacson adds, Tacloban already received 230.7 million pesos or $5.1 million in cash and projects worth 6 billion pesos or $133.7 million from the national government. The United Nations says all 108 Filipino peacekeepers in Liberia test negative for the Ebola virus. They will arrive in the Philippines Tuesday and will go through a 3-week quarantine in a Navy outpost in Manila Bay. Liberia is one of 3 West African countries suffering from an Ebola outbreak. A survey says salaries across Asia-Pacific will rise by 7% in 2015. Global professional service company Towers Watson says employees in Philippine companies may get a raise at par with the rest of the Asia-Pacific region. Vietnam will see the highest increase in salaries at 11%, followed by India at 10.8% and Myanmar at 10%. Japan will see the smallest raises at 0.6%. Vice President Binay wants clear parameters in his debate with Senator Trillanes scheduled for November 27. Binay earlier challenged Trillanes to a one-on-one debate to answer Trillanes' corruption charges against him, but the Vice President refuses to refer to it as a debate. He adds, it's more of a conversation, an explanation of both sides. For the full stories, click on the links on your screen. And for those of you watching on mobile, the links can be found on the titles on the article. You can also click on the tabs below to go to a story in the video. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. If you look at the mood navigator, which is in the middle of the front page, today you see Romualdez lied, performed below par. This is according to Lacson, and you see 89% angry. That red is mirrored in the story that's gotten the most number of votes in the last 24 hours. Tourist's ordeal with rogue retailer hits headlines. That's 83% angry. That red bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. Well, that is the wrap for today, Monday, November 10th, 2014. Visit Rappler.com for the latest news here and around the world. Check out our other shows, Tech Wrap and Talk Thursday. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.